Hello and welcome to our video on the brachial plexus. We try to break this down as easy as possible with some color differentiation. If you are colorblind, I apologize in advance. Hopefully you can tell by the shadings that these colors are different. I will point out the different colors for those that are colorblind so they can actually see that these are different structures. For mnemonic for the brachial plexus, which you can remember, is ready to drink cold beverages, or Randy Travis drinks cold beers, or Rob Thomas drinks cold beers, if you know who those people are. If you don't, say ready to drink cold beers or ready to drink cold beverages. And these are the roots, the trunks, the divisions, the cords, and the branches that are terminal off of the brachial plexus. So let's talk about what this brachial plexus is. It's a plexus of ventral rami from C5 to T1 mostly. Occasionally you'll get a C4 or a T2 contributing to the area, but for the most part you can count on C5 to T1 being the majority of the innervation. You'll see in green as I come closer that we made C5 and C6 ventral rami a green color. Intermediately here in royal blue, we have C7 ventral ramus. And then C8 and T1 roots we made in pink. And now you can see coming off of those roots, we have a couple of branches before they become trunks. Number one that you see up here is a contribution over to the dorsoscapular nerve. Number two is a C5 contribution to the phrenic nerve. And then you see C5, C6, and C7 contributing and giving rise to a nerve on number 3 called the long thoracic nerve. And again, these are all listed if you need them down here. I'll include a still of this picture so you can study. So now let's move back up because the roots are now becoming trunks. See the roots becoming trunks. And as these roots become trunks, we have an upper trunk formed by C5, C6. We have a middle trunk formed by C7, and then C8, T1 give us the lower trunk of the brachial plexus. These trunks only give rise to a few branches. The upper trunk gives rise to number 4, which is the suprascapular nerve. And then number 5, nerve to subclavius. The upper, middle, and lower then give off anterior and posterior divisions. In these divisions, you'll have a solid line for the anterior divisions and a dotted line for the posterior divisions. You can see here that the solid green line from C5 and C6 and the solid blue line from C7, from upper and middle trunk respectively, help to form the lateral cord of the brachial plexus. And cords are named for their reference to the axillary artery. So the lateral cord will be lateral to the axillary artery that we discussed in a separate video. The lower, as you can see, kind of travels with the anterior divisions on its own to form the medial cord. And then all of the upper, middle, and lower trunk posterior divisions combine to form one large posterior cord. So again, the medial cord is medial to the axillary artery. The posterior cord is posterior to the axillary artery. And the lateral is lateral to the axillary artery. Now coming off of these respective cords are major branches. The lateral will give 3 major branches that you see here. 1, 2, 3. The posterior cord will give 5, and the medial cord will give 5. Let's talk about some of their branches before they become terminal. The lateral cord gives off a branch here on number 11 called the lateral pectoral nerve. And note how it carries both green and blue. So it carries C5, C6, and C7. This lateral pectoral nerve will go to majorly the pectoralis major and then will combine with a nerve called ansa pectoralis to help also innervate pec minor. Off the medial cord, you find 3 branches here before the medial cord terminates. 6, 7, and 8. This is medial brachial cutaneous nerve, mostly T1, medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve, C8, T1, and medial pectoral nerve, which is C8, T1. This nerve goes to pec minor to pierce it, and then again contributes to pectoralis major via ansa pectoralis. Now, let's go back to the posterior cord. Notice before it terminates, it gives off 3 branches. These are all called subscapular branches, with one that kind of changed its name. This is an upper, middle, and lower subscapular nerve. The upper and lower subscapular nerves that you see, 12 and 14, are C5 and C6, going to the subscapularis muscles, and then also the 14 will contribute to the teres major. 13 is also called the middle subscapular nerve. We don't really call it that anymore. We call it thoracodorsal nerve. And as you see from our previous video, thoracodorsal nerve is your touchdown nerve. So it contains C6, 7, 8, because a touchdown is worth 6, 7, or 8 points. So just remember, touchdown, thoracodorsal, 6, 7, 8. Or you can say 6, 7, 8, make my lats look so great, because thoracodorsal nerve innervates the latissimus dorsi. Now we see our terminal branches. Each of the chords give off 2 terminal branches, 2. The lateral cord gives off musculocutaneous nerve, C5 to C6, and then also 10, which is the lateral cord contribution to the median nerve, or we also call it the lateral root to the median nerve. The median nerve is actually not a terminal branch of any particular cord. It's a terminal branch of 2 cords. So you can see here the medial cord terminates into 2 major branches. It gives off the structure number 9, which is the medial root to the median nerve, and then it also gives off the ulnar nerve. To finish, you can see that median nerve receives both lateral and medial cord. Therefore, the median nerve contains potentially C5, C6, C7 from the lateral cord and C8, T1 from the medial cord. In all truthness, the median nerve doesn't carry much of C5 because it doesn't need it. It's going to the forearm and into the hand. The musculocutaneous nerve, 5, 6, and 7, make your biceps look like heaven. C5, C6, C7 go to the anterior compartment. Muscles like brachialis, coracobrachialis, and biceps brachii. Off of the posterior cord, we can see axillary nerve as a terminal branch, and the radial nerve as a terminal branch. The axillary nerve has the potential to carry all levels of the brachial plexus, C5 to T1, like the radial nerve does, but axillary doesn't carry it because it doesn't need it. Axillary nerve goes only to teres minor and also goes over to the deltoid. It may occasionally carry some C7, but typically carries C5 and C6, mostly the green. Radial nerve, though, carries C5 to T1, again not having much use for C5, but it carries potentially all of the levels and travels to do most of the extension of the arm, forearm, and hand. So hopefully you found this video useful. It gives you a nice breakdown of the brachial plexus without too much busyness. In all truth, this plexus is very busy, so we tried to make it as simple as possible for you. We'll do a screenshot included under the description, and hopefully you'll find this useful and draw it out for yourself. I highly advise using colors because your brain remembers colors if you're not colorblind. If you're colorblind, it will remember shades, so use different shades. Use your own handwriting, don't just study this. Make sure you study it for yourself, write it out over and over, and I promise it will become something consistently that you know. This is Dr. Kathy Dooley, and we'll see you next time.